So we had this old piece of scrap wood laying around, and we decided to make a beautiful piece of wall art with it. We cut out a couple of triangles, and we said, let's try a different shape instead of just a regular old square. Now, y'all can use a jigsaw to do this. Y'all can use a circular saw to do this. If you want to use a square, use a square. If you want to make a circle, if you want to make triangles, whatever you want. It's all about what you want, folks. Then we went ahead and we beveled the edges just to get a nice overflow when we were going to pour our epoxy. The next step that we did was we went ahead and we got some Rust-Oleum metallic spray paint. And with that spray paint, we went ahead and we made sure that we covered the whole bottom of the base of the board itself, of all three boards actually. And the reason we did that is because when you put tabletop epoxy on, it's super thin. Remember, it only usually goes on 1/8 of an inch thick. So we didn't want to risk seeing the wood underneath the Upstart Epoxy's tabletop epoxy, even though we were gonna put pigment in it. And the best idea to do that, and the best way to get rid of that, is to give yourself a base coat with spray paint. That way you darken up the wood and the spray paint acts like a primer. Okay, folks, now we're here to the good part, the fun part, the pouring part. We're gonna go ahead and make sure that everything is level. It's imperative for this pour that you make sure everything, that both of these floating platforms are level, folks, because if they're not level, it won't have the same effect, and that would not be good. I'm gonna go ahead and fill this bucket up with about 24, and let's go 32 of each. Let's do that. 1-to-1 ratio using Upstart Epoxy's tabletop epoxy. Okay, now what we want to do, some copper. We're going to go ahead and use copper for the base coat, folks. I went ahead, and like I said earlier, I went ahead and I hit this with a bronze color, because what you want to do is you want to make sure that your base color, which is copper, won't be revealed through the wood. That's why we spray painted, like I said earlier. But we want to use kind of a two-tone for this pour. So normally, what people will do is they would have spray painted this copper as well. But I want an underlying color variation in this so that it looks a little different. That's why we're going with the two-tone color. I'm gonna mix all this up. We'll apply our base coat of epoxy on here, and then we'll hit it with a couple of accent colors. Okay, folks, there's the base color all mixed up. Let's go ahead and let's coat all of these with the same color. And we want to make sure that we have a good overflow of color here. Let's help it along the edges here. Sure that these edges on the inside are coated as well. You can see that the epoxy is starting to self-level, which is good. That's what you always want. Okay, come along here. Now when you get stuff that leaks off and drips off, you can always repurpose it. Get your hand in there and coat these edges here. I just want these flowing real good. Get some more of this. Repurpose it a little bit more here. Go. Let's get this alongside here. more on here. Get a nice, solid, thick base. Because this is really your foundation for this piece, this color. Those accent colors are gonna be beautiful as well, but you want this to shine at its highest because this is your base color. This is your foundational color. Now see, I'm really liking how this black is looking in here. There's bronze actually on these edges. I don't want to get it so that it turns this whole edge copper. I kind of want to leave this black because it kind of looks like a frame. So I'm gonna just leave this here, but I'm still gonna coat it with the epoxy. That way it all ties in and it closes up any of those loose pores or loose cut areas from the jigsaw and the circular saw. Okay, so we've got that. Those are good. That's looking good. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna change the gloves. We're gonna hit it with the heat gun real quick. Get those bubbles out of there. Go. Put these gloves on, and let's go. And for this, we're gonna do. I don't think I need 8 ounces. I'm gonna do. Let's do 6 ounces. So we'll go 3. Oh, well, 3.5. We'll do 3.5 of this one. Okay. There we go. And we'll do 7. Half and half, like the cream. Okay, let's come here. All right. And then we're going to use an aluminum color for another one. Do is mix these up by hand real quick. Good minute to 2 minutes. Get them all mixed up. And we're gonna do a really cool contiguous circle design, folks. This is gonna look really sweet. Okay, folks, now's the fun part. Check this out. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go in a circular motion around these pieces. That way, when you hang these pieces, they're all gonna look connected. So check it out. We wanna stay, we're gonna waste a little bit. We're gonna come like this in a circular motion, okay? And we're gonna come around here like this. We're gonna do a nice big circle in here. We're gonna come around like this. Get it started here. Let's do a little small one here, maybe. Let's come around here just because I did that there. Let's come a little tiny one here in this corner. Now let's grab our accent color and let's try and see where we want to do another one. We'll start off real slow and just do this circularly as much as we can. That one kind of got a little globby on it, but it's okay. Let's come around here like this. Okay. Now let's tie in all 3 of these like this with one color there. And you know what? We'll do another small color like this. Maybe another one over here on this end here. and we're gonna leave it like that, folks. We're gonna let the epoxy do its thing. We're not gonna hit it with the heat gun. We're gonna just let this meld, cure, and do its thing just like that. Okay, folks, we're back. It's been about 7 hours since we poured our wall art. So the epoxy is now pretty tacky and sticky. So now what we wanna do is we wanna incorporate some more lines on it, but we're gonna make the lines this time a lot thinner and not so thick like our first wave. The idea behind this and the trick behind this is to get the lines to stay thinner. So we're gonna use the epoxy as like ticky-tacky tape, and we're gonna pour it on there and hope that the epoxy holds it in place. Okay, folks, so we have all of our accent colors, well, both of our accent colors, not all of our accent colors, mixed up already. What we're gonna do is we wanna make sure that we make this as thin as possible. So we're gonna come and we're gonna bend our cup, and we want this epoxy to bleed out just in a singular line. So let's come like this, and it's barely coming out there, and we want it to just come kind of like this. And just have fun with it, folks. However you do this is however you want to do it. We're just doing this just to, like I said, have fun and kind of mix things up a tad. So we're gonna come out here like this. There's that one. Now notice how this line is staying relatively thin, how we wanted it to. I'm gonna come over here with the black onyx and just come over here and just do some cool swirls and patterns and just kind of zigzag it around, get it in there. Have fun with it, folks. That's the whole idea and the whole point behind all this stuff. That's why we make stuff, for fun, and we make stuff that people will enjoy. So, like I said, the point of doing this is we want the ticky-tacky epoxy after it's been setting about 6-7 hours to kind of hold this in so that these thin layers don't get as thick as these layers here and blend in like they did. We kind of want to keep these contiguous and separated as much as possible. Now the epoxy is going to be epoxy. It's going to move no matter what you do, folks. So the point of this though is to try and keep these as thin as possible. Okay, folks, now that we've decided to add this last color, just to give it a little bit more pop factor. Don't get me wrong, I like these colors. I think they all go good together, but this, actually it's an aluminum, kind of a metal pearl color, and I'm not gonna put a lot of it, just a little bit. Just a cool little stream of this color, just to give it an extra little bit of pop. Let's see how it looks, folks. Let's get this nice and thin again. And let's come in here. And let's start from up here this time. There we go. Let's just come around like that. Come up here. And that's it. That's all, folks. Okay, folks, we're almost there. We're just gonna sand off these drips from the epoxy, level this out, get it nice and clean. That way when we put it against the wall, it's nice and level and don't have to worry about no protrusions. Let's get it. So folks, we've got all those bubbles sanded off, all the drips. Now we're just gonna put on our hanging hardware that we picked up from our local big box store. Okay, now that we've got these, we're just gonna draw a straight edge line just to be kind of a guide to where we place these little hanging hooks. Got that there. That's all squared up. Okay, folks, now it's time to put these nails into these little hardware clamps. Now, unless you have fingers like a 2-year-old, it's really hard to grasp these because they're so small. So what I like to do is just get some needle nose pliers. If you have them, straight away, pop it in. There's 1, 2, and now you got a few more to go. Well, folks, she's all done. Another project done for your pleasure and your help, helping you guys to create cool stuff like this for your homes or for your family or your friends or your marketplace. Once again, this has been Steve with Upstart Epoxy, and we'll see you next time.